Hi everyone, it's me again. Welcome back to another video. I know I'm a little late. I apologize for that. I told you guys it's been a very stressful week studying for my physics class, and now I have an exam coming up next week, so I gotta prepare for that. I mean, I feel pretty confident in my skills, but I can never get too overconfident, so I'm studying really hard on it. And the little times I take a break, I invest in here on my videos. So I'm sorry for the delays. I'll try to do better next time, but it's just been a very tough week, and I'm studying really hard for that, and I'm really hoping I get at least a B. My forte is not really physics. It's not really my favorite subject, but it's part of my career, so I gotta try really hard on it, even though I hate physics. But anyway, let's get back on topic. Last week Ururaka gave a great speech and stood up for Deku, and not just Deku, but heroes overall. And it finally touched people's heart and connected everyone to Deku. So in this week, we see like Kota weeping and crying and like running to Deku. I mean, he literally apologizes to him for not going to his side fast enough. I mean, seeing the hostility of the civilians, I guess that just frightened him. But when he saw Uraraka standing up for him, he just knew that he just couldn't stay there and just watch and do nothing. And he's like, I just had to try because I want to be like you. Kota became a Deku fan after Deku literally risked his life to save his. And we saw last week, he literally, that scene where Kota went to get some shoes and he got the same ones as Deku. As you know, he became a huge Deku fan. And that little scene really like pulled my heartstrings. And then seeing Kota crying and even telling him, I am here. And he doesn't need to cry anymore. So very beautiful scene. We also see the big lady. He's like, oh wow, she didn't even know he's a UA student. And we even learned a little bit of her past. As you know, society right now is a very dangerous place, so she tried to seek shelter, but of course she got rejected from numerous shelters because of the mutant type quirk she has, which is honestly pretty sad, especially the state that society is at, and for them to deny shelter for such stupid thing. Very sad and very disgraceful. And the lady is very grateful to Deku for saving her, and even calls him my crybaby hero. So we then see one of the civilians. He's like, instead of just like putting the blame on him and just freaking out, let's hear him out and analyze what's happening. He even states like, it's not like Deku is just gonna stay here at UA forever. No. Right now Deku, he's not gonna stay there forever knowing like the chaos that society is in at. All right now Deku needs is just a little break. Just give him some good food, let him rest for a little bit so he could gather his strength and get back to his feet again. Then another civilian kind of complains, saying like, why don't you just like take him to Shiketsu? As you know, they have the exact same security system as us. But another civilian is like, that's just pushing our problems into other people, and very likely they're gonna react the same way we're doing. Then we go back to that same civilian that stated, hey, let's hear him out. He begins to realize something that not many people are realizing. And the analogy that he comes up is just very clever and just very fitting. He says that the civilians, even himself, were like the spectators, while the heroes were the performers. And once All Might came into the stage, people saw him as, you gotta be like All Might. So everyone just started cheering on him and everything. But along the way, people forgot about the heart and soul that made All Might. And right now, the theater is destroyed. There's no stage. And of course, that literally symbolizes how society looks like. And he even starts like seeing like, dude, so many heroes just hung out their capes because they couldn't get any flame or glory, which is pretty disgusting. But also, many of those heroes started leaving because the civilians, anti-hero civilians, saying, "Oh, you're a hero, you're a bad person," and everything. So many of those heroes started quitting because they just couldn't handle it anymore. It's like I'm thinking they probably think we're not doing any meaningful work and it's just not worth it anymore. And he's like, think about it. Think about the left heroes who are still fighting, who are still in the game. What's gonna happen if you keep driving them out? Who's gonna protect you? Who's gonna be able to get society back to the way it was? And he even tells civilians, everyone, how long do you expect to be the spectators? I remember that civilian that was giving like Deku a hard time, and I even swore if I ever see that guy in my life, I will punch him. We see that he's just a little doubtful, like he doesn't know what to believe. I mean, there's rumors, as you know, he's seeing on his phone of a guy that could use multiple quirks. They believe him working for the villains, but other people say that he might be a hero. And he asks Deku this. He's like, once you get your rest, will we be able to get back our lives eventually? And Deku's response is very beautiful. You see that finally his classmates got to him. He's like, everyone is here with me. He's not referring as himself, no. He's putting his friends, everyone with him together. He's not alone anymore. And he even says, yes, we will bring it back. We'll return everything. And I just love that Deku finally understood that you can't do this alone. There's no need for you to bear this heavy burden all by yourself. And as all of this is happening, we see ectoplasm. And we see him talking with Todoroki, Endeavor, and Hawks. He asks if you heard Ururaka's speech. And of course I heard it, but Endeavor just feels like all we did was just push the burden to Deku. And he just feels that there wasn't much progress here. But of course Hawks disagrees. As you know, One for All is a power that was created by multiple people. They connected, and All for One, this quirk, was able to connect everyone. It connected All Might to Deku. It connected Deku to his classmates. And it finally connected Deku to the civilians. And Hawks had seen all of this. He feels that he's seen a future, a bright future, where heroes have time to kill. The future that Hawk desired most, he's seen it right here. And then we see on this panel, very, very touching panel, we see Mama Deku like literally going to her son and in tears. We also see the civilians like giving the umbrellas to the heroes so they don't get wet from the rain. And I just love that scene with Mama Deku. Like, Deku really needs her mom right now. And Deku's mom needs her son more now than ever. Another panel which I thought was funny, as you know, we see the civilians giving the umbrellas to the heroes. We see Bakugo giving attitude, and I think Kaminari kind of like smacks, I don't know, Bakugo in the head, or is about to. I thought that was a little funny. We see another important scene here. We see Todoroki and Endeavor talking to each other, and Todoroki tells them, we're doing this together. We're catching Toya together. And of course, Endeavor agrees. And finally, one of the things I've been hoping to see, waiting to see, is Eraserhead, Aizawa. And we see that the extent of his injuries. I really hurt my heart seeing Eraserhead without one of his eyes. As you know, he lost it when Shigaraki was able to touch his face, and I just can't forget that gnarly scene. And of course, we know that he also lost his foot when he had to cut it off to prevent the quirk erasing bullet from erasing his quirk. And we see that Principal Nezu is talking to Aizawa. And Aizawa, hearing that all of what's happening outside, he's like, tell my class rep that he did a great job. And we also learned so many interesting things. Like one of them, we see that Eraserhead still hasn't got used to his new prosthetic leg, which looks pretty cool. He says, I'm not the next Merkle, so ooh, makes me wonder what are the capabilities of that prosthetic. We also learned that he's been talking to Kurogiri, which makes me realize that he didn't escape from Tartarus, which I thought honestly, oh, maybe he escaped, but it kind of does make sense. If Kurogiri were to escape Tartarus, I'm thinking the civilians will be in immediate grave danger because Kurogiri could literally warp a gate to the school and it will be a massacre. But we learned that he didn't escape and that Aizawa has been trying to talk to him every day, but there hasn't been any progress in there. And we learned that they've been trying to kind of help Kurogiri. As you know, the breakthrough that Aizawa and President Mike were able to get many chapters ago, that, you know, where they finally were kind of able to get the friend Shirakumo to kind of talk. They've been doing some research with the Nomus, so it's very interesting. I guess they're trying to get Shirakumo conscious back, and it just looks very interesting. I still don't see what they're doing here, but apparently Merkle destroyed the copy work, and they're doing some experiments on some of the Nomus that we're able to capture. So rather, it's still a very slow progress. I mean, I'm really hoping to get Shirakumo's conscience back, or at least just let him pass peacefully, like once and for all. We also learned some other interesting things, like because I was wondering what will happen if let's say a civilian enters the UA but that civilian is actually Toga in disguise. I was wondering, like, okay, how could they breach that barrier? But apparently they were able to have like a countermeasure to prevent Toga from infiltrating the school. They figure out, okay, the blood intake she needs, like her max, and the max amount of time she could stay transformed as that person. So every time a civilian comes trying to seek shelter at UA, he's isolated for a little bit. So that's a great measure right there, and a very smart one. And as Aizawa and Principal Nezu are talking, Aizawa says UA is our stronghold and it's time for payback. So I'm thinking, oh, finally we're gonna see the heroes more in action now that Deku is at UA. So I guess I just gotta give him a little bit of rest, get him at full strength so they could do a counter strike. But one of the last panels of this chapter caught my eye, and it's of All Might. Like, I'm thinking he's leaving UA or moving away from it, and his face looks like sad. That's one of the things I've been wondering, like, what's gonna happen now that Deku is at UA. Will Deku and All Might reunite together, have a good talk? I'm thinking this is gonna be a tense conversation after Deku's last words that he told All Might that you don't need to worry about me. But I mean, I'm thinking All Might's like, I can't really say anything to Deku because I'll be a hypocrite knowing that he literally did the same thing to Night Eye. And I'm thinking All Might is seeing the roles being reversed. But I'm really hoping All Might and Deku will have a good talk, live and live, because those guys are like two peas in a pod, and I'm really hoping they have a good talk. But anyways, it was a very interesting chapter. I'm very excited to see the next one. I don't know, I think the chapter is gonna get delayed till next week, so I'm really hoping it's not true, the rumor I heard. I've been seeing some of the spoilers for the chapter for Black Clover, which I'm very interested in, and it looks pretty cool. We're getting finally to Senon's fight, and I'm just so excited. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video. Bye.